All right, welcome everyone, and a big shout out to all of Mr. Chi's students tuning in. In this explainer, we are going to crack the code on human evolution by looking right at the fossil evidence. Let's break it down together.
So you see a question like this on a test, and it might look a little scary, right? Don't worry, the clues are all there. By the end of this quick explainer, you'll be able to tackle this no problem. Okay, let's dive in.
So before we can really dig into the amazing story these fossils tell us, we need to be able to speak the language, the language of the scientists who study this stuff. So let's get a couple of key terms down first.
First up is this word hominin. When we say hominin, what are we talking about? Well, just think of it as the entire human family tree. That's us and all our ancient, extinct relatives, right after we split off from the other apes.
Next up, genus and species. And here's a super easy way to remember this. Think of the genus like a last name and the species like a first name. So for us, our last name is Homo and our first name is sapiens. Put them together and you get Homo sapiens. That's us.
All right, now that we've got the lingo down, let's meet the main characters. These are the three major groups, the three genera, that lead us to, well, us. Okay, so our story kicks off way back with the group called Ardipithecus, around 5 million years ago. Then comes the famous Australopithecus, and finally, our very own genus Homo shows up on the scene.
Now this chart, this is where it all comes together. You can literally watch the trends unfold over millions of years. Look at the patterns. Grains get way bigger, faces get flatter, and walking upright on two legs, that's called bipedalism, becomes the main way to get around.
All right, so now we've got the background, we've got the key players. Let's actually use this stuff to go back and crush those tough exam questions.
So, how do we know these early guys walked upright? This is a huge question, and it's a great one because the answer is literally written in their bones. The evidence is just undeniable. The proof is right there in the skeleton. First up, look at the pelvis. It changed from being long and narrow to this shorter bowl shape. Why? To support our guts and keep us stable while we walk. Then there's this thing called the foramen magnum. I know, it's a mouthful, but it's basically just the hole where your spine connects to your skull. It moved from the back of the skull to right underneath it, which balances your head perfectly for walking upright. And if the bones weren't enough, we have actual footprints, the Laetoli footprints, 3.2 million years old, showing a walk just like ours. How cool is that?
Okay, remember that first question that looked kind of tough about the skulls and intelligence? Well, the secret isn't what's on the outside of the skull. It's about what you can fit on the inside.
And this chart just shows it so clearly. The brain volume, what scientists call cranial capacity. I mean, look at that jump. It doesn't just grow, it explodes. On the path to becoming Homo sapiens, our brains more than doubled in size.
So to answer that question dead on, a bigger skull, a bigger brain case, means a bigger brain. And a bigger brain is our best clue for things like higher intelligence, better problem solving, and eventually the ability to make all those cool, complex tools. Okay, let's put it all together now. When you put an early hominin skull side by side with ours, the difference is just, wow, it's really striking. You can literally see the changes, right? It's like a before and after picture that took millions of years. Those big brow ridges, they basically disappear. The jaw that juts out, it flattens. The big canine teeth, they get smaller. And the biggest change of all, the brain case gets huge and round to fit our superpowered brains. Now let's wrap up with one last absolutely critical idea. If you get this, you will avoid the biggest mistake people make when they talk about evolution. And it's this: evolution is not a straight line. It's not a ladder.
You know that famous picture, the one with the ape that slowly stands up and becomes a human? Yeah, you gotta throw that idea out. It's just not how it happened. The real story is way messier, more like a big branching bush. The fossil record shows lots of different hominin species living at the exact same time, and most of those branches, they just died out.
This quote right here says it all. For millions of years, there were different kinds of humans sharing the planet. Think about it. We're just the last little branch left on this huge, ancient family tree.
And that, of course, leaves us with one last, massive question to chew on. If the world was once home to many different kinds of hominins, why are we the only ones left? That's some serious food for thought. So, if this breakdown helped things click for you, and you want more explainers like this to really nail your studies, make sure you follow and subscribe to Mr. Chi on TikTok and YouTube. Keep asking those big questions.